Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone from www.tarotforhealing.com. I hope you guys are doing really well. Now this is your monthly astrological reading for the month of May for the Geminis. I hope you're all doing good. Now do check out my website because on there I have a report for all the signs. And the report that I've made is basically I've gone through all your readings from the beginning of 2015 all the way up to now, and kind of seeing what the general theme is coming through with the messages, just to give you some direction and some guidance, and also to sort of give an idea of where you're heading to throughout the rest of the year. So it's not going to be very detailed because obviously I am still doing these monthly readings as well, and so it's just sort of, just a guide to just help you and sort of see where things are heading for you. So yes, and also do check out my Facebook page because I am posting more now, and I am being more proactive with like having things on there and checking it out and doing all that stuff. So do like the Tarot for Healing Facebook page, and that link will be down below also. So what I've decided to do this month, which is slightly different, is I've added some runes to see what message the runes give, as well as the cards. And I've also added an angel answers card to kind of give you a general idea of what is happening and what's coming up for you in the month of May. So I'm going to be starting off with your finances as usual. What I'm kind of seeing in this card is the month of May is a time where you're really going to see how resilient you are, because it's sort of saying, again, things are coming up, challenges are coming up, and it's like you're going to have to face them head on. And I think that this has been happening for quite some time for you anyway, Gemini. And so it's kind of saying that it's like May is the month that you really come to see how resilient and how strong you really are in getting through the hardships and the difficulties of life. And so in terms of your work, you have the Page of Wands and the Ace of Swords. And so these cards are pretty good. I think the Page of Wands is sort of indicating that you may be thinking about going down a different career path. I think that you are, again, looking to find something that maybe is in a job that is more exciting, something that you have a passion towards. And it's also, when I look at this card, it's almost like this card might be, it might be that you're in a job, you might be working already, but it's almost like you're inquiring about a different position, or you're inquiring about a job somewhere else. I kind of get this idea of, because the page is sort of a learning card, and it's a card where he's kind of adventurous and he's kind of just wanting to see what is out there. And the Ace of Swords is a card of, again, of something coming through after a patch of difficulty, something that comes through that shows you some clarity, some direction, some focus. And it can also mean a message being delivered to you, or some form of a communication being delivered to you that tells you that, yeah, you do have the job, or tells you that, yeah, you have been victorious in something that you have been wanting to obtain for yourself. I feel that the Page of Rods is saying that I think that you may be wanting to face a new kind of challenge when it comes to the work that you do. It's like you want a fresh perspective, a fresh um a fresh feeling to your work. Maybe you just feel like you've been stuck in the same job for too long, and you're just looking for something new, something to get excited about when you wake up in the morning. And that may be coming through for you in May, or you might be hearing back. That's sort of what I'm feeling, is that you're going to be hearing back. You're going to get some good news, basically. And the good news is going to really put you in really high spirits for something that you've been hoping for actually coming about. So when I look at your cards, for those of you that are in relationships, you have the Five of Cups and the Magician. So the question that comes through when I look at these cards is, why would you want to create a situation where you're not gonna be happy. Like that's sort of what it looks like with these cards. I'm not saying that's the message for everyone, but I feel like that's a message that applies to somebody. Somebody like it's almost like because the magician to me is what you it can represent the power that you have within yourself. It's like you're in the driving seat of this situation. It's what you've created. And the Five of Cups is like the disappointment. You're focused on what hasn't gone right. There's a sadness, there's a sense of loss. But it's sort of saying that this sense of loss may have been down to a choice that you made or something that you did. So or it could have been a case that maybe you was trying to control the situation and it just didn't go to plan. It didn't go the way you wanted it to. So it might be saying in the month of May, if you are in a relationship and the relationship is going okay, it's trying to say don't be forceful with things. Don't try to control things because I feel like you might try to do so and it might turn out not the way you want it to be. So I'm kind of seeing here that again it's like even if a relationship is going through a difficult time, it's saying don't focus on that which is already happened or that's gone wrong. Try to look at the situation from a place of feeling more empowered than feeling helpless in the situation, because it's almost like I feel like you have the power to rectify this situation. It could have been a sense of maybe you created the issue and then but it's saying that you have the power to change it and to transform it and to turn it into something better at the same time. So it's almost like knowing how to use your power. It's sort of like don't abuse it, just use it in a way that ends up where you get the result that you want and so does the other person. It's like you have the control to make that happen. You have the ability to do what it is in the relationship that can make the relationship better. So once you know what that is, then just do it. Just do it. Don't like it. I feel like when I look at this card, it could even be a case of with this Five of Cups, you could be feeling like, am I in a position? Do you know what I'm actually seeing right now? I'm seeing that the this person that is dealing with the loss, they're dealing with maybe the loss of somebody that they may have even been with, somebody that they have emotions for, they have feelings for, and you might actually be trying to win this person back or win this person over again. So it could even be a case that maybe you're one in a relationship with an ex-partner as well. Or it could be somebody again that you are in a relationship with and maybe things are feeling a bit like they're going south, but it's saying that you can steer things in the right direction if you choose to, because you have the ability to. So yeah, for those of you that are not in relationships, this card has been showing up a lot as well in readings for this month for the signs. It's the Four of Pentacles with the Hanged Man. I feel like this is gonna be a month. It's so weird because I feel like the messages that are coming for those of you that are in relationships is so, like the polar opposite to the messages that is showing up for those of you that are single. Um, and I think that where those of you in relationships have the power to sort of change things and make things better in a relationship, um, and you actually might be pining for somebody. Again, like I said, I'm feeling could be a person either that you're with trying to make it right, or even pining for somebody that may be gone. Maybe you've been separated for a time. I feel like for those of you that are single, it could be saying that if you were in a relationship and you and that person actually did separate, it's saying that you may be really holding on to that individual. And in really holding on to that individual, again, I'm seeing with the Hangman, it's saying that you might decide to look at it from a different perspective. You may decide to not hold on any longer, and maybe to try and look at it from a perspective of, well, do you know what am I going to do? Am I going to still hold on, or am I going to move on? And when I look at the hangman, it's kind of saying that maybe you do decide to move on. So it's sort of two polar messages, because I'm kind of seeing that there might be some of you guys that aren't in the position to move on from a relationship, and there's going to be some of you guys that might reach the final point where they're like, you know what, I have to move on from a relationship. I have to move on in terms of, okay, things have gone south. They haven't been the way they're supposed to be. Maybe I sort of messed up things as well at the same time. And so you might just be like, okay, I have to just sort of face the music and just move on. But regardless of whether you decide to move on or to hold on, it's sort of saying you have to do what is healthy for the situation. Because to me, holding on only makes sense if there's hope for that relationship. And I'm kind of seeing with both sets of cards, for those of you that are in relationships and that's not in relationships, there is hope for a relationship, but it has to come with you having to make a change. There has to be some change that is taking place here. The Four of Pentacles can also represent a card of kind of being selfish, putting your needs first. And maybe that's what needs to change. But again, it's a hoarding card. So again, it's like, I don't want to let go. I don't want to change because I want to be selfish, but I don't want to let go of this person, even if they let go of me because I'm being selfish. So again, it's like your perspective has to change. But I feel like this month, if this message is resonating with you, then it's saying that you will change. You will look at things from a different perspective. You will understand maybe where you've been selfish and where you haven't been flexible in terms of your partner. Because it's almost like that's the lesson that you've learned from this. And again, I feel like that connects with the message that was coming through with the magician. It's saying that you have the ability to make the change that could make a relationship really work, whether you are single or whether you're in a relationship. But again, it's how do you use that power? How do you use that in a way that makes the relationship better instead of causing issues for the two of you, which could potentially damage the relationship? Because I'm kind of looking at these cards and feeling like you don't want to damage the relationship. You really don't. That's why there's this Five of Cups that is showing up. Because you don't want to lose somebody. You don't want things to be all messed up. But at the same time, it's like, well, what are you going to do? That's the question. What are you going to do? So, when it comes to your spiritual cards, it's interesting. Again, it's like you have the strength. You have the strength. And then you have the manifestation. You have the enlightenment. So you got a lot going on. And then you have the Three of Rods. So the Three of Rods, again, it's like, to me, this spiritual message that is showing up for you is saying, how are you using your strength? That's an important thing. Like, how are you using your strength? How are you maneuvering through circumstances in your life? How do you use your power? Use your power not to sort of destroy situations, but use it to bring you closer to somebody else. Use it to be compassionate, to be soft, to be kind, to be sweet. I think a lot of the time we don't think that any of those things have anything to do with being in your power, but it very much does. Being powerful doesn't mean that, you throw the gauntlet down and you're like, okay, this is how things are gonna go. That, like, I think people tend to associate that with power. But you can have that kind of attitude and be the most fearful person in the world. And usually the people that are the most afraid are actually the people that seem to be the strongest at times, because it's like they have to overcompensate for being afraid. And to be honest, strength isn't about that. It's not about just exerting your influence over someone else. It really is about, well, okay, how how do I use this ability that I have to be the person that I am, to know myself, to stand in my own truth, but at the same time be able to accept other people for who they are and be able to work alongside someone else. Sometimes to be the stronger person, to be the bigger person, you have to maybe back down a little bit. Maybe you have to compromise a bit, you know, just to say, okay, I'm going to use my strength or use my influence for what is the greatest good of the situation. And sometimes the greatest good is again to sort of, instead of being forthright, is to sort of bring it down a bit, be a bit more calm, be a bit more gentle. So it's all in the way you use your strength. I think, and this is just an example. I'm not trying to say that this is how it's going to be showing up for you. But an example is, for instance, a woman, let's say a very seductive woman, and she is seducing this man. She doesn't have to be very forthright. She doesn't have to be like an outright dominatrix to, have to sort of influence him. She can be sweet, she can be sexy, she can be, all that stuff. And the guy could be totally into her because of all that she is. And even the softness that she shows, the femininity that she shows. That's why I always believe that a woman's power is not in being masculine, it's in being feminine, because in our femininity, in our softness, we do have that influence. When we can have that influence over a man, because a man is, he'll be more suckered in by a woman that is feminine than a woman that comes off to be very dominating and masculine. And so again, it's like strength does not have to be, kind of what we look at as sort of, this masculine idea of strength where it's just sort of going for it and being action orientated. Strength doesn't have to be that way. It can be feminine, it can be passive, it can be more internal and not so external forcing. So I think that's sort of maybe what you kind of have to bring into balance this month. And I think that if you can bring that into balance, it will really improve your relationships with others. And with the Three of Rods, it's kind of saying again, new horizons can come up for you if you are prepared to kind of understand how to utilize your strength in a productive way and not a destructive way. And so when I look at your runes, it's kind of saying the same thing. It's the same message that is coming through the tarot cards. One of the runes that showed up is a rune that speaks of strength and speaks of your motives. And again, there's a rune of the south. So this is about your own personal strengths. And again, you can use it for awakening. You can use it as a sense of, and I feel that that's the awakening that is going to take place within you. You're going to be awakened to how to utilize that strength this month in a way that maybe you've never realized before. And the card that comes through for you from the angel answers is remain positive. So remain positive about anything that shows up right now that is making you feel that you have concerns about, things that you're questioning. Will it go well? Can I improve it? If this is a relationship, again, it can be saying remain positive about your relationship because you can improve things. So yes, those are your cards. And again, I feel like the reason why I say remain positive as well is that you can get what you want. That's the annoying thing. You can get what you want. And then it's green as well, which is connected to the heart chakra. And your own healing of the heart as well. So yeah. And that's another thing. Sometimes we can come off very strong as well because our heart has been hurt before. And so maybe that's another reason why you might be coming off a bit macho and a bit like, oh, things don't bother me, like that kind of strong attitude. It could be that same thing. But yes, I'll see you guys. Bye.